During his drive, Carl pulled over to help two fellow hunters whose pickup wouldn't start. Over coffee, the hunters told Carl that he'd have better luck in the woods. Carl took their advice and headed to the northern edge of Medicine Bow National Forest. He parked his pickup on a hill and had a brief discussion with the game warden, who happened to be there. It was around 4 p.m. when Carl began his hunt. He walked less than a mile into the forest when he arrived at a clearing. He noticed 5 elk a few hundred feet away, all entirely still. He pointed his rifle at the largest male and pulled the trigger. To his surprise, no sound was made, and the bullet left the barrel in slow motion. It stopped around 50 feet in front of him, seemingly hitting something invisible before dropping into the snow. Strangely, the elk didn't flinch, and Carl noticed that the forest was unnaturally silent. After retrieving the bullet, Carl noticed a large transparent box on the ground that was 5 feet high, 5 feet wide, and 7 feet long. It looked to be made of glass and was empty inside. Sensing something nearby, Carl turned around to find a strange-looking humanoid floating upright before him, wearing a black suit similar to that of a scuba diver. Carl estimated the being to be around 6 feet 2 inches tall and 180 pounds. Its skin was like that of an East Asian person, with a face similar to a human's, but with no chin and a severely receded jaw. It had no eyebrows, no ears, and small slanted eyes. Its coarse straw-colored hair stood out from its head like bristles on a broom, grouped into small bunches spaced a half-inch apart. There were 2 distinct rods coming from the top of its head that looked to be antennas. The entity was wearing black shoes and a wide belt, with a 6-pointed star where the buckle would be, and a yellow symbol below it on a type of small apron. Its legs were noticeably bowed outwards. It had no hands, but there was a cone-shaped appendage or device sticking out of its right sleeve. Higdon referred to the being as a man, suggesting that it had some male characteristics. The entity moved towards Carl by floating over top of the snow. When it got within a few feet of Higdon, it asked him, "Are you hungry?" though its lips never moved when it spoke. Carl replied in the positive, then a small envelope or packet of 4 pills floated towards him, and the entity told Carl to take one. Though Carl was normally extremely reluctant to take pills, he promptly swallowed one as if he were being controlled, as he put it. The entity then asked Carl if he wanted to go with it, and he replied, "I might as well." Carl expressed that this latter choice was his own. Having read about UFO encounters in the past, he had previously resolved to go with the euphonauts should he ever encounter one himself.
Might as well.
The entity pointed its cone-shaped appendage at Carl, then suddenly he found himself elsewhere. Carl's next memory was of being inside the transparent rectangular box, itself seemingly within a larger transparent structure, both still resting in the forest. Carl was sitting in a type of bucket seat with his arms and head restrained. In the reflection on the glass above him, he could see the 5 elk standing motionless in a cage. The entity from the forest was in the room, and 2 more similar beings were also nearby. Carl said, "You've got my elk," and one of the beings shrugged. The box lifted off the ground, and Higdon looked down to see his truck where he'd left it, but then the main entity waved its hand and the truck disappeared. Carl's next memory was seeing what he described as a blue ball and a huge marble, seemingly the earth, in the distance far below him. The beings told Carl that they were going home, which they said was 163,000 light miles away.
Light miles.
Then they put a helmet on him that had 6 wires sticking out in all directions, and fastened a strap under his chin. Next, everything went black before a very bright light came on, causing Carl's eyes to burn and water. Carl was now standing in front of one of the transparent walls of the outermost structure, looking out into a giant featureless space, with no visible walls or ceiling. The light was coming from the top of a tower that he
Alright.